many stages if I'm coming with just an idea. The idea is this vuvuzela
Mhm.
made in South Africa can be made in the United States. And I want to talk about the process of, okay. Anyway, maybe it's gonna be taxed. Maybe there's gonna be a lot of tariffs on it. Maybe there's gonna be a lot of tariffs on it. So maybe we cannot no longer afford it.
There's not really like it's not like a 5 steps to, I'll say number one, the manuscript. Number two, the graphic design. Number three, you become an author.
How
It's,
about the layout? Are you skipping the layout, the formatting?
I mean, so all of those things are what we do. So that's why I say the only thing that the client is engaged in is helping us to create those things that I mentioned. But as far as the editing and proofreading, we do all of those things.
Did you know that it is possible to birth your book in as little as 28 days or maybe 90 days? Did you know that you can get help to bring those ideas that you've been dying to bring to the world with the help of someone I call a midwife as far as books are concerned? She'll help you to say, push, push,
Oh my
push,
goodness.
push. And before you realize, pop, the book comes out and is touching someone, is encouraging someone, it's helping someone to make sense of this complicated world. Today, I am very fortunate to welcome into the Story Warrior studio, virtual fireside, Miss Kellie B. Brooks of Kellie B. Books, LLC, based in the great state of Texas. Which corner of Texas are you joining us from, madam?
I am in the DFW area.
Good for you. Dallas Fort Worth area. Okay, that's a great area to be in because it looks like there's a lot of people there, a lot of people with ideas who want to write books in DFW area.
Yes.
Man, and if anyone is joining for the first time, this is the Story Warrior podcast. My name is Gideon Fumukwai, the host, and I am humbled to talk to someone who knows a lot about the world of books. Madam Brooks, how did you get started into books? Were you a bookish student? Were
That's
you
so funny.
super like bright, a nerd at school, so to speak?
Definitely. But first, let me say, I want to tell you thank you so much for having me on your show. This
Okay.
type of thing it makes me extremely nervous. I know.
Wait, you've been in front of audiences all over.
No.
Okay, anyway, signing, book
I'm
signing,
a
and all.
writer. It's funny because I'm a writer at heart. And so as a writer, I'm introverted. I like to
Mm,
just kind of be to myself. And so when I have to get in front of the camera or in front of the even
mm.
a recording, I'm like, oh my goodness. So thank
Okay,
you so much for inviting me today.
absolutely, absolutely.
And now I
So,
already forgot the first question.
no, no. First question was, have you always been bookish? I think you answered it to some extent. How did you develop your love of books? Because you can't serve someone something that you don't like. How did you develop your love for books? Did it come from your parents? Is it your genetic line? Is it in your African genetic package? Is it how did you get it?
Probably. I have no idea. I have always been a studious person. I don't want to brag or anything, but I have been that straight A
Hmm.
student type of girl, and I
Oh,
know that's just been my
am I
life.
talking to a member of Mensa?
I don't know. I did that genealogy test, and it came
Yes.
back that my the top one was Cameroon. So I've been kind of digging into that.
All right, I can say without doubt that you come from a rich heritage of great storytellers, great troubadours, great orators, and yes, super hardworking people. No, as you may know, I grew up in Cameroon before I migrated to the other side of the world. So good
Mhm.
to meet a Cameroonian sister. We
Yes,
may be cousins. We
I know we might be related.
might be very, very, very related. We gotta be careful, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so before you got into the world of books,
Mhm.
what were you doing? If you don't mind, shed a little bit of light on why you started to develop an interest in books,
Um,
especially publishing.
mhm. So I actually worked in manufacturing, and I what I did, we called it GMS coordination, which means that we help to eliminate waste.
Mm,
It's a lot of fun. I love the job and everything, but I started to think to myself, I really am not making an impact on this world. And so
Mm,
I know that's what books do.
mm-hmm.
Once you write a book, you can be long gone and your book will still exist. And you
Yes.
can leave a legacy with your family. You can leave a
Mm,
legacy. There are books that we read now that are hundreds of years old. The
mm-hmm.
Bible,
Yes.
that's a
Yep.
very important book.
Yep.
So I wrote a children's book just because I wanted to impact the
Mm.
world.
Wow, that
Mhm.
is interesting. You see, there is a book known as Aesop's Fables that was written before Christ. That means like maybe as old as the Bible. And then I think in primary five, I learned that a Spartan soldier dies but
Mhm.
never surrenders. And when
Ooh,
I started writing, I
yes,
figured out that if a Spartan soldier dies but never surrenders, a writer dies but their work never dies.
yes,
Their
very.
work continues to live on,
Mhm.
touching lives, encouraging people, and getting people to be inspired to do good work. And I saw that firsthand when I taught high school in Nevada. I read about a young lady who was in a part of the sad history of Germany,
Mhm.
and she wrote a diary, and
Mhm.
diary of Anne Frank. She
Yes.
just kept this diary as a young girl who is
Mhm.
frustrated by the system in which she grew up and how the world was treating people of Jewish descent. And she
Mhm.
kept that diary when she
Mhm.
passed on.
Yeah.
That work impacted the way students in
Yes.
America, in LA, and
Yes.
in Nevada were taught,
Mhm.
maybe more than 70, 80 years later.
Right.
So you are absolutely right.
Mhm.
When you write from the heart, you can touch people,
Right.
you can heal people, you can elevate people, you can inspire people.
Yes.
So your love for children's books or for books as a whole is a very unique gift to the world. Can you talk to us about your first book and how painful it was to get it together?
Oh my goodness. So, first, I want to say I love that you shared that. I never even thought about that because we did study Anne Frank, and that was years and years later, decades later,
There you
and
go.
she was just writing from the heart, and we're reading it, and it's telling us history. And
Yes.
having had a chance to visit her home in Amsterdam, it
No kidding.
all yeah,
You've been there. See?
yes, sir.
Good for you. Good for you. All right. I would love to see the
So
pictures. But yeah,
yeah.
man, that's fascinating. But I'll ask that as a follow-up question. Go go
Mhm.
go along first around the you reading the journal of Anne Frank, because one student read it and said they were so happy they thought she was still alive. Then when they realized she's dead, oh no, oh
Mhm.
no.
Mhm.
It hurt them so badly. So you read that. I did not get to read it in Africa. I read it maybe a little bit much later as an adult.
So, oh, that's not
And
a part of the curriculum there?
no, it's not a part of the curriculum there, but
Yeah.
many other books were part of the curriculum. Yeah.
Right, right. So that was definitely a part of the American curriculum, and
Mhm.
we read it. When we found out that it was a real diary, it
Mhm.
just made it that much more real.
There you
And
go.
so I said, if one day I got to go to Amsterdam, I would love to see. And
Wow.
that put the story with the person, and it made it even more real. Like she
Mm.
left the story and didn't know she was making publishing history.
There you go. There you
And
go.
so, you were asking me about when I wrote my book, the
Yes, ma'am.
process, like it was very gruesome because
Mm.
starting off, I had no idea where to begin.
Mhm.
I just knew I had a story I wanted to write. The story
Mm.
was not actually about me.
Mhm.
Oftentimes people ask me, "Is this you? Is that you in the book?" And the answer is no. I just knew that I wanted to talk about the things that little girls struggle with. And
Mm.
yeah, so I wrote a book about fear, and
Mhm.
um and I just didn't know how did I find an illustrator? How do I get it out into the public where people can read it and it can actually be in
Mhm.
the hands of a reader? And so that whole process was gruesome.
Mhm. Yes, I can relate. My first book, I
Mhm.
did not know what to do. I didn't know where to start. It was very challenging. How long
Yes,
did it take for you to write your first book?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, okay. I thought mine was very tough. So I feel very vindicated now that mine at least it didn't take 10 years. But 10
That's so
years,
bad.
uh, I don't feel so bad now.
Well,
So,
we have clients that have 10, 20, 30 years have been thinking about and talking about a book that they had never just brought to fruition. And
Yes.
so it happens very, very often where we'll talk, and we'll often hear people say, you should write a book about
Mhm.
your story, or
Mhm.
and so we kind of just think it, and or we'll share it with the world, but never put it
Mhm.
on paper. And it took me
Wow.
10 years to do that.
Wow. Wow. But kudos, kudos, kudos. You got it out. And fear is a very universal thing.
Hmm.
People of all cultures have fear. Children have fear. Adults have fear. I got my own fears, a lot of it. So, how did you navigate that? You brought in a character,
Hmm.
distance it from you, so nobody should know that you have any fears. Uh,
And it's so funny. Like, I always have my clients open up more and more. And
yeah.
for me, I'm so private. Like, that's
Uh,
what people do in my business.
yeah.
But yeah, fear is one of the things that holds people back from writing their story because they want it to be perfect. And I
Hmm.
always say, when you write, just write. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll do the editing, we'll do the proofreading. Just
Hmm.
write your story. And
Hmm.
so that the one thing that stops them from doing that is analysis paralysis. They
Yes.
just analyze it so much until they just say, "Okay, I'm just not doing it." But
Yep.
the good thing about Kelly B Books is that we will. You don't have to even write your story. You can just tell us the story, and so storytelling doesn't have to be written. It can be verbal. And so when
Hmm.
you verbalize it, we'll turn those words into
Hmm.
words on a paper.
Wow, wow,
Mhm.
that reduces the publishing process and the pains and the angst of getting it out. So I can
Right.
come to you, Kelly B. Brooks, and I share with you my personal experiences of going shoeless and clueless and hopeless at the age of 10. And you
Mhm.
can take that boom and turn it into a fascinating story, a fascinating book that
Yeah.
helps people to understand my personal experience. Okay, that's
Mhm.
something that I think I can see people coming to you for that because some people are very busy,
Mhm.
some are just not comfortable expressing themselves.
Right.
So, who are the kinds of clients that you've been attracting or you've been able to serve so far?
Well, we have all types of clients, but the favorite one that we love to do is the business books.
Oh,
Business books are our favorite because
why?
you can use that to supplement your career
Hmm.
and earn even more income. So let's say,
Oh,
yeah, you're like, if you're a public speaker and
hmm,
you want to talk, let's say you're an expert in something business related.
hmm,
When you do your speaking about that event, you're not
hmm.
only paid for the speaking, but you can
Yes,
say, hey, I also have a book. I'd like for you to purchase 500 copies. And there you
yes,
go. That's supplemental
yes.
to your speaking event. So that's what we love. We love to have the book help the person become successful.
Absolutely. In fact, I benefited from that a little bit. I wish I'd known you maybe before 2015. I would have been one of those that you've helped.
Mm.
But you are coming from a background that was avoiding waste. I
Yes.
know that there's potentially some waste in the area of book development, book design and development. Let's say I come to you and I'm totally clueless about the process. What would you say is something unique about your previous background, your understanding of waste that
Mhm.
you've brought on to your book publishing arena as somebody who is conscious of weight in terms of manufacturing, and books have to do with some manufacturing? What informs you? What changes your style from that other people are using?
That's a good question because
Thank you.
I think it's totally opposite because with manufacturing, you don't want to waste 1 second of any time is money, right?
Yes.
But with the book writing process, it's opposite. I tell them, take your time, tell me the
Mhm,
story. You can
mhm,
make mistakes.
mhm,
With the manufacturing, you don't want to make mistakes. In fact, one of the forms of waste is waste of correction, like I told you, and
mhm,
fixing something again is not
mhm,
a good thing. And so,
mhm,
but with the book, I encourage it because you don't have to be perfect, right? So if you
mhm,
want say, "Oh, I don't like the way that sounds," and you want to make a revision to it, you can do that before we
mhm,
actually hit the publishing button. So yeah, that's
mhm,
that's totally opposite. We encourage you to take your time, and not we don't encourage waste, but we encourage
mhm.
you to take your time on creating your story.
After all, once you write it, it's going to be out there for a long time. So you may as well write it well so that it can continue to touch people for a very long time, like Anne Frank did.
Hmm.
If let's say someone came to you and say, Madam Brooks, um, I want to get my book out in 3 months or 4 months. I'm setting aside some time. What would you say are some of the things that you go through from idea to a book out? What are the various stages or what are the various processes? What kind of treatment do you give this mother
Hmm.
that is about to birth this child?
It's white glove treatment. And so,
Oh, okay. White love treatment. White glove or white love?
white love treatment.
I don't know what that means. That means them. I don't know. Anyway, explain
So,
that.
like you said, it could take as little as 90 days, and
Mhm.
it could take. We've had a client that's taken 28 days, and so
Wow.
we can do it that fast. Oftentimes, that doesn't happen because the people it's very close to them, so they want to write a story that they want to make revisions, and the more revisions that the
Hmm.
person makes, the longer it will take.
Yes.
So, let's say you sign up and you want to just do a first step discovery session.
Yeah.
And during that session, that's when we talk about the concept, we talk about your target audience, what you envision for your book. And
Hmm.
we're taking every one of these recordings, they're all on Zoom. We
I
take the
see.
recording and we're using that as our notes to create the story. So
All
the
right.
first thing we'll do is create the outline. And once
Mm-hmm.
we create that outline, you can critique it, you can change it up however you would like. If it aligns with your vision, then we move to chapter one. When we
Mm-hmm.
stop there because we want you to read chapter one, make sure that aligns with your vision. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'll go, if once we meet your requirements, then we'll move on to chapters two, three, four, five, six, seven, and then eight, nine, 10. So we'll do it about 3 or 4 times. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's it as far as the writing portion. And
Mm-hmm.
then we move on to graphic design. So we'll give you 3 to 5 options to choose from for your book cover. And
Mm-hmm.
once we get that finalized, and then we will, of course, you've already selected your title. We like to kind of do that at the end just in case things change in the story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for the client. They just sit back and let us do the rest, which is editing, proofreading,
Mm-hmm.
formatting, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of just all putting it all together.
Wow.
Mhm.
So the editing, proofreading, you take care of all of that for them,
Yes.
and then print if they choose to go the printing route.
Yeah.
Are you seeing some people that prefer to do just electronic publishing, or everybody who comes in likes to have both the hard copy and the electronic copy? Hard copy because they can smell it, they can feel it, like, oh my God, my baby, oh my goodness, they can hold the baby in hand.
That's exactly how it is. People want a tangible book in their hand. So we have had maybe just a handful of clients
Mhm.
that say, let me just do an ebook. But
Mhm.
we offer both of those for them.
Wow,
Mhm.
wow. For those who may be thinking of calling Madam Kelly B. Brooks to get help, how much should they make sure they call their bank and check you got enough before you call this book mentor, this book coach? What are the ranges for someone who is, let's say, they come with just an idea and they're
Mhm.
willing to work with you for 90 days? How much should they be thinking about?
Well, they need to take out a mortgage. And no, I'm just kidding.
I was like, okay.
Edit that out. Edit that.
I was like, wrong audience. Wrong audience. Okay, go ahead.
So, what we start with a $97 discovery session. And
Mhm.
so that $97, if they decide to move forward with us, we will subtract that from the bottom line.
Mhm.
And so the bottom line is whatever. So it all depends on how far that person is in their writing journey. If they have zero zero, then it's
Mhm.
a whole different investment than it
Mhm.
would be if the person is completely done with their manuscript. So that's what we'll talk about at that discovery session,
Mhm.
just based on their need. That's what
Mhm.
we'll talk about the investment at that time.
Mhm. But today, okay, now they're thinking, okay, my mortgage is this and
No,
like,
edit that out of the video. It's not a mortgage.
no. Okay, but at least even if it's a mortgage, it's a mortgage that will live in perpetuity. It's gonna live forever and
Yeah.
ever. It's gonna. So the better it is, the more it's gonna milk. So you are considered a publisher,
Mhm.
not a book publisher, not just somebody that helps to write or help them to write. As a publisher,
Mhm.
where is most of the costs? Is it in the writing process or is it in the printing process?
Yes, definitely in the writing process because
Mm.
writing is not easy. It's not everybody can't just sit down and write a 150-page book. So that skill is where most of the cost comes from. So that's why we
Mm.
say if you already have your manuscript written,
Mhm. Mhm.
then it'll reduce the cost a lot.
Mm.
But I can say we're very flexible. We do have a payment um, flexibility. I've seen
Mhm.
it as low as $200 a month, and we can get started.
For maybe 200 years, $200 a month for 200 years, right?
No, no, it's
Because
not.
most mortgages last about 30,
Oh
40, 50 years.
Lord.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I have to bring you back to the mortgage thing again. No, but okay, on a serious note, right? The modalities for payment, uh, instrumental. Do some people finish paying off in a year or two or three? How do you structure that?
We actually don't structure it. It's up to so we work with the third party with the structuring of the payments, and
Mhm.
so we get started right away, and then they just continue with the payments there.
You send them to the banks, you send them to the lenders. Okay. Wow.
No,
Okay. I don't want to deal with your
destroyed.
financial I don't want to deal with your financial mess. Go talk to them first before you come to me. Okay, that's
Oh my goodness, you're
very
just
savvy
destroying the whole
businesswoman you
industry
are.
with
Okay. The other thing that I'm curious about is in the course of writing,
Mhm.
people suffer from what is called writer's block.
Yes.
So I come to you, I'm all ambitious, I'm all excited. I start to write, get to chapter 3, 4, then can I figure out new ideas to write again? What do you do about that? Do
So,
you take them on a cruise?
mhm.
You take them to Bermuda, to Caribbean, uh, do a retreat with them? What do you do? Take them into your writer's lab and whip them into shape. What do you do to get them back into into shape again?
No, so like I was saying, we already created the outline before we got to chapter 3. We've created the outline, we've brainstormed prior to actually starting. So all
Mhm.
we're not going to have any blocking because
Mhm.
all of the ideas have been ironed out. And
Mhm.
so by the time we get to chapter 3, we know the flow, we know where we're going at that point.
Okay, okay. So you have
Yeah.
a layout, an outline of the book.
Yes.
Now, can someone come to you if they're not interested in this is self-publishing route? Is this is considered self-publishing route, right?
Yes.
If they want to go to a major publisher,
Mhm.
maybe that's been around for who knows a donkey years,
Mhm.
they can come to you to submit what they call a book proposal. Can you help them with a book proposal?
We can. So the traditional publishing route is a very good option for a lot of people, many people have chosen to go the self-publishing route just because it helps to maintain their creative control.
Hmm.
So the major publishing companies, the traditional ones, they
Hmm.
have a marketing team. They know what they want your book to look and sound and feel like, and they
Hmm.
know what's gonna resonate with the audience. So they
Hmm.
will use their expertise to control, the
Hmm.
direction of your book. And
Yeah.
if the client doesn't want that, they want certain colors and certain feels. They want to do it exactly how they want to do. That's when
Hmm.
they can go with the non-traditional
Hmm.
self-publishing route.
Okay. From your experience, which is better? Is it self-publishing? Now I know you may be a little biased in that,
Yeah.
or is it traditional publishing?
I am
Uh,
biased. It all depends on the vision of that client. So if they want a New York Times bestseller, versus which we cannot guarantee, but it depends on what are they trying to do with that book. Are they because we've had clients that have only wanted to write a book to leave for their family. One of my
mhm.
clients, they said, I just want to leave this book for my grandchildren and great grandchildren.
Mhm.
So his
Mhm.
intention wasn't to be a New York Times bestseller. So
Mhm.
definitely to go with a traditional company, they would
Mhm.
have taken all of his story and chopped it into pieces. And so
Yeah.
that self-publishing would have been the better option in that instance. So
Mm.
it all depends on
Interesting.
their vision.
So they came to you, you work with them. This
Hmm.
book will be published in posterity, or is it published already? If they're still alive, do they want the book to come out while they're still there, or they want the book to come out when they're no longer there?
He wants it to come out whenever
He's
whenever
gone.
no, right now, as soon as possible.
Okay, okay. So that he can feel it and smell it and know that it's a tangible thing that
Hmm.
would exist when he's gone. Okay,
Isn't
that
that
is
that's the beauty of having a book, like
yes,
the heritage, the
yes.
legacy
Absolutely.
part. That's
Legacy.
hmm
Legacy is very important. When you started out, which year did you start out? And where are you getting a lot of your business? Is it from DFW where you live? Is it from across America? Is it from the Middle East, from Africa, from which part of the world? And why?
I can't even remember what year I started the book. You remember because I told you like the 10 years. It's all muffled, but
Mhm,
most of my clients, I mean, it's web based. The
mhm,
business is web based, so I can meet with clients from anywhere in the world. We do. I've had some clients in Canada.
mhm.
I haven't had any from Africa. Or actually, I had one from Africa, but she lives in the DFW area. But
Okay.
yeah, most of the clients, I mean, you can be anywhere around the world and have a web based meeting with us.
Mm,
That's the beauty of it.
yep, yep. I mean, I can see how that can serve people from everywhere. Now, some people are using book authorship as a path to riches. Is it a path to riches? What is your experience about that? Can I say, okay, Kelly, I want to publish a book. I want to get rich next year. I want to get rich later this year. Is it a path to riches? What is it about? Is it
So,
about exploding or increasing my expertise?
mhm.
What is it more about? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it accolades? What is it?
Well, it's whatever you want the book to do for you. So when it comes to getting your book out there, it's all determined by the work that you put into getting it out there. So we can
Mhm,
never guarantee a bestseller, but there are books that just resonate with people that become bestsellers and no one knows why. So
mhm,
it could be as random as that, or putting in the work to
mhm,
make sure that your book is out there. But the best way to books are like a marketing tool, right? So
mhm, mhm,
you have a product, let's say you're a chef,
mhm.
and now you have a cookbook. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yep.
this is marketing what you already do. It's
Mm,
hmm
yes. Yes. It further strengthens your brand.
it really does.
Uh, when I read my second book was talking about business storytelling,
Hmm.
and I believe it has helped to strengthen my brand in some ways because, like you say, it's a marketing tool. Sometimes I send it to some individuals,
Hmm.
and then a relationship grows out of that. And
Yeah.
before I realize that, like, can you come and train my people? I'm like, okay,
Right.
that is
Exactly.
amazing. That's
It
amazing.
establishes your authority, right? So if
Yes.
you met someone and they say, "Oh, I'm Kelly Brooks," that's different from "I'm Kelly Brooks, author of," and you're like,
Hmm.
"Hmm."
Yep. Yep.
I've
Yep.
read that it's equivalent. It's equivalent to having a master's degree. Like people
Oh,
automatically say, "Oh, this
no
person
kidding.
knows what they're
It's a
doing."
brilliant. Okay. Okay. Maybe I should start saying I'm an author twice, and now on the verge of getting the third one, which is which is gonna be an audio, no, an electronic book. So I could
Mhm.
need to get that stamped very quick. How? Okay. How can someone who is super busy, business owner, doing a myriad of things every single day, find the time
Mhm.
to birth their book through you as a midwife? You're standing by, you're guiding them, and you're telling them push, 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 and then poof, the baby comes out. Tell us, how can they find you and how can they benefit from your services to get that book out?
That's interesting because that was one of the things that held me back, like being busy with time, being
Mhm,
busy with my family, work,
mhm,
education,
mhm,
all of those things kind of you
mhm,
can't and you putting a book together is like the last thing. It's on the
mhm.
back burner, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the beauty of the Kelly B Books. Working with Kelly B Books, like I told you, we may meet 4 or 5 times,
Mhm,
and just based off of your words and your concept, we'll create the book. So you don't have to have a ton of time to sit down and devote to
mhm,
writing an entire book. And
mhm.
so you can contact us. You can find us on kelliebooks.com, KELLIE, B as in boy, and then the word books.com.
You can't go wrong with books.com, Kelly B books.com. I mean,
To be.
your name. and your business name are very alike.
They are.
Which preceded which? Is it Books or Brooks?
I'm
Uh,
Kelly Brooks.
Brooks. So you came before the book, or did the books come before you?
Right. I'm Kelly Brooks, and the company is Kelly B Books.
Okay, okay. I'm just goofing. Now, it appears you are more involved with the conception, design, development, and printing, and
Mhm,
not so much into the marketing. But we also know that a good book without a marketing plan is
mhm.
as good as a dead man lying within a cemetery.
Oh, that's a bit
How or
dramatic.
what can sorry, I'm a little bit dramatic today. It's a Friday, right? CGIF. How can you ensure that the book development doesn't end up on the pile of history of books that have not been read, have
Mhm.
not been loved, have not been kissed, have not been, reproduced, or in other words, shared with others? How can we avoid that?
That's a good question because that's exactly what we tell our clients. We're not a marketing company. And so once we, in fact, in our contract, it says we do not retain any of the royalties. Once we finish with the book
Mhm,
is yours for you to take the baby and do
mhm,
what you will with that book. And
mhm,
so we do have some marketing affiliates we can refer you to,
mhm.
but marketing is not our expertise, and you retain all the royalties that you receive.
Okay, that's very generous of Kelly B. Brooks, because it appears you don't like our money. You don't want to have a cut of our money. That's okay. I get
No,
it.
it's just that we specialize in helping you publish it. And so if you
Okay.
specialize in everything, you're really not specializing in anything. So marketing is not our specialty.
Fair enough. And I know I've seen one of your bio somewhere. It says you should go from wishing to write
Hmm.
to publish. Done that, been there, done that. Show
Hmm.
me other things to do. So you helping people to brag and say, I've been there, I've done it. I'm
Hmm.
off to the races. I'm off to looking for something else. Okay. Now, about how many clients have you served so far?
Ooh, I don't know. We've only been in business for less than 2 years. It's a new, entrepreneurs call it
Mhm,
very a new business,
mhm.
and we have over 170 invoices. Now I don't
No
know.
kidding. No
Yes.
kidding. Got jobs? Got any jobs, man?
No, it's been so overwhelming. When I prayed about, my future and everything, and God blessed me with this. Every client is a blessing to us because I know how important it is to be an
Yes.
author. And so I thank God for every client that we have. Now, not every one of those 170 are actual books. Sometimes people only want proofreading, and sometimes they only want editing. But
Mhm, mhm,
we're thankful for all of the clients. And to answer your question that you had earlier, most of my clients are coming from word of mouth. After having that experience,
mm.
yeah, they generally come from word of mouth.
So you must be very good at what you do.
I thank you. We try.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Do you have marketing partners? Because I may have a critic that says, Gideon, I don't want to go to Miss Kelly Brooks because she would abandon me after the baby comes out. You know, one thing about books and
Mhm,
humans, books and babies, is that books without the nurturing and the
mhm,
love, they're not going to make money.
mhm,
Just like babies. If babies come out, you don't nurture them, you don't feed them, you don't, I don't know what is breastfeeding or spoon feeding or whatever kind of feeding. Okay, whatever formula. Without that feeding, they're not going to live long.
mhm,
So my question is, do you know book marketing authors, book marketing promoters that you send your own your clients to so
mhm,
they don't crash after designing the book, getting the book printed? Because I know people that say they have 1,000 copies of the book at home. I'm like, oh my God,
mhm.
that's crazy.
Uh,
Thousands.
So, like I said, we do have affiliates that we can refer you to, but we're not in the business of convincing anyone.
Mhm,
If they're not comfortable, if they want a publishing company that also does marketing, I'm sure there's some out there. But they can use those services, but we
mhm,
don't convince. We're not going to convince you if you don't want that. So,
mhm.
yeah, we can refer you to some affiliates for sure.
Mm, okay, very cool, very cool. If I understand your process well, it is one that is iterative. We finish stage one, we go to stage two, go to three, to four, to five. So are they 2 stages, 3 stages, 5 stages? How roughly can you say that? How many stages? If I'm coming with just an idea, the idea is this vuvuzela
Mhm.
made in South Africa can be made in the United States, and I want to talk about the process of. Okay. Anyway, maybe it's gonna be taxed. Maybe there's gonna be a lot of tariffs on it. Maybe there's gonna be a lot of tariffs on it. So maybe we cannot no longer afford it. Okay.
Uh,
Um.
I don't know.
Maybe.
There's not really like a. It's not like a five steps to I'll say number one, the manuscript. Number two, the graphic design. Number three, you become an author. I mean,
How
it's
about the layout? Are you skipping that? Are you skipping the layout, the formatting, and all that good stuff? Or
so
maybe.
all
I
of
mean,
those.
I'm looking at it like a
Mhm.
layperson. I'm not looking at it like an expert like you.
hmm I mean, so all of those things are what we do. So that's why I say the only thing that the client is engaged in is helping us to create those things that I mentioned. But as far as the editing and proofreading, we do all of those things, so they can sit back at that time when the book is off at that
Mhm.
stage.
Okay.
hmm
Have you published any books recently that really struck a chord with you? Maybe ideologically, maybe morally, maybe religiously. I don't know, socially, emotionally. Have you heard some success stories recently, and you're thinking, you know what? That's a book that I should have written myself. But you, unfortunately, you have to be the the book mentor, the book coach, not so much the book's mother.
Oh my goodness. And I tend to hear myself saying it all the time, like, ooh, this is a good story. But all of them are really good.
Mhm.
There was one, it's not published yet, but we're working on it right now. And this lady, she's writing a book about just taking care of yourself and the overall wellness of self. And I
Mhm.
found myself after helping her, we only have written, I think we're on chapter two at the time, at right now,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I found myself purchasing a day spa gift card. And I was like,
Why?
because she influenced me to kind of just have some
Oh,
you know.
oh, nice, nice, nice. That means she's already had
Mhm.
an impact on you even before the
Already.
book is out. That means, oh my goodness, that's interesting. That's very profound.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So, can you imagine by the time you finish your book, maybe you're about member of the ship of the spa, membership of the golf club, membership of the membership of the
Exactly.
women in
Yeah.
book
Women's
writing and
wellness.
book publishing, or who knows what, the choir or the church, and then
Mhm.
the singing the choir, the church, if at all. She's talking about the choir. Okay, okay, I get
Well, I'm
that. I
already
get.
in the choir.
Oh,
I am.
we're in the choir.
I
Okay,
don't
so
sing well, but I'm in the choir.
maybe you can join 3 or 4 choirs already.
Right.
You can go from this choir to the next choir to the next choir. Have you written any book about choir, live in the choir?
Never written any book about that. I have one client she's from Africa, and she's writing about her. Now, this is so totally unrelated, but I know that this is close to your heart, so that's why I'm mentioning it. She's from Africa, and she has written her a book about her experience coming here and assimilating into the African American culture, which
Mhm.
is like it's a very different experience because you share the skin color, but you
Mhm.
don't share the culture. And so
Uh
now you
oh.
come here. Yeah.
Uh oh. Yeah.
And you
Yeah. We
come
share.
and you're supposed to.
We share the genes, but
hmm
we don't share the food.
Right.
Maybe to a limited extent. But we share also. What else do we share? Share the dance moves. All right. The
No.
vibrant the vibrance. Can you?
African people can dance, dance, dance like better than anybody else. So, but yeah, so it's an awakening, when and it's oftentimes very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And so she's writing her book about that experience. Is very interesting.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Very interesting. All right. I like to hear that. But what's her title? Is it adapting to America, adjusting to America, getting assimilated? Is it getting associated? Or what is it all
She
about?
has not created the title as of yet. And
Okay.
another thing, when we do ghostwriting, then
Hmm.
we cannot disclose our clients. So
Oh, okay.
sometimes people will say, "Well, give us an example." Only if the people sign off saying yes, you can disclose this.
Oh,
So
okay.
whenever the book is done, it's considered her book. She's the writer, she's the author, and
Yes.
yeah. So we
Fair
can't even
enough.
disclose who it is, you know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. In that case, talk to us about ghostwriting. Is this affordable? Is this desirable? Is it advisable for someone to offload, or so to say, translate or transport their ideas to someone else and sit by the side, and yet want to take the ownership of the end? Talk to us about ghostwriting in book services, book
Yeah.
publishing.
So we have different styles of writers. So we'll have like a urban, if you want to have that urban sound to your book, that's a whole
Hmm.
different type of writing than a
Hmm.
business book. We have business writers.
Hmm.
We have just storytellers. It
Hmm.
depends on, so whatever type of book you want, we do have that type of writer. And
Hmm.
so we do recommend the ghostwriter because, like I said, people are not the greatest writers and they
Hmm.
struggle with that portion. And so I wouldn't, it's nothing to feel bad about, you know, if
Hmm.
that's not your talent, but you still have a concept or you still have a story, a powerful
Hmm.
story you want to share, you
Hmm.
just not the best writer, then this
Yep.
is a good option. It's a good alternative.
Mm.
Just never getting it out.
Wow. Wow. I need to think about those options because I think there's a fourth book in me that I need to birth. It's called Story Warriors at Large or Story Warriors at Work. I
Mhm.
want to feature people that are doing great work like yourself,
Oh.
believe in the power of their story, and they're
Mhm.
taking it to the marketplace and say, "This is me. This is who I am. I'm
Yeah.
powered by my story. I fail, I die, I rise with my story. I'm standing by it for better or for worse." So
Mhm.
I come across some of those, and they're doing very, very well. But coming from the motherland,
Mhm.
yes, through many places,
Mhm.
have you come to see that immigrants are embracing publishing, or are they so busy trying to make some money, pay the bills, pay the mortgage,
Mhm.
and they're neglecting telling their stories or writing about their experiences in America? What's
Mhm.
your experience?
You know, so I can say growing up, we've had, when I was in school, we would have some students that were from Africa
Hmm.
and they hid their culture. It
Hmm.
was, and so we kind of created our narrative in our head based off of what we saw on
Hmm.
on TV and
Hmm.
negative images.
Hmm.
And so now it seems that there's been a transition that
Hmm.
the African culture, Afro beats, and the
Hmm.
music and everything is
Hmm.
now being embraced. And it's like a very powerful statement to have an
Yes.
African attire, and we're
Yeah.
embracing it so much. And so I think that somehow the narrative was changed. I don't know how.
Hmm.
And so, but I don't have many African clients because,
Hmm.
like you said, they're busy in their careers and in their
Hmm.
families and building everything, and they're
Hmm.
really not considering this as something that
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't, you know, that they're interested in. However, I have a few African clients, and they want to tell their story, and I think it's important
Hmm.
because, like I was saying, shifting that narrative
Hmm.
is key.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, that narrative has shifted. I tell you what,
Mhm.
last year I had an MC
Yeah,
on this program, a DJ.
yeah.
He's worked in Vegas for a number of years.
Hmm.
He's of half Cameroonian, half German descent.
Oh.
And he says, now in Vegas,
Hmm.
just mentioning that you're an African, you're
Hmm.
hot currency on the block. The ladies are diving at you. Everybody's calling you. They're
Uh-huh.
asking for your number. He said he used to come and perform. Nobody's asking for his number. But with the coming of Afro beats and who knows what else is happening in the culture, in the mix up,
Mhm.
he says now people are like, please, can I have your number? Please, can I have your number? I'm like, he's
Wow.
thinking, is it the same guy? I've been coming here. Nobody saw me. Now
Yeah.
suddenly he's getting noticed. And then
Uh-huh.
I've also noticed a lot of Nigerian men say, man, it's fashionable now to be Nigerian.
It is.
That they say they used to be looked down upon, people were looking at them scornfully. Now they're like, whoa, we
Hmm.
are now we're the in thing now. So
Hmm.
unfortunately, I don't have Nigerian blood, but maybe proud of them for
Hmm.
being very proud of the African culture in many,
Yeah.
many ways. So let's go back to the process of writing a book, getting it published, and at the end of writing a book, what do you do for them? Symbolic, ceremonial. Do you just say bye bye, take your baby out of my hospital and go? I got my checks already in the bank, or do you celebrate them in some shape or form?
Oh, we love supporting our authors. I've been to a few of my clients' book signing events
Hmm.
just to see the success, just to be amongst it. That's
Hmm.
the best part. It's the best part to see someone open their book and
Hmm.
actually become an author. So we love supporting them all along the way. They
Hmm.
I call some of them for their birthday, like it's a whole relationship. This whole from start to finish, we've built a relationship. So we do continue loving on them.
So, in other words, you do go home with them when they take the baby home. You go see how the baby is adjusting at home. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, but
Yeah.
no book launches. Do you create any special book launch for them so that maybe they can grow their numbers on Amazon? Maybe that's something that the Story Warrior podcast can offer to do with you because hey, we have a foot in the media.
Hmm.
We know a lot of people. We have a marketplace that reaches hundreds and hundreds or sometimes thousands. Can we partner with you to get their message to as many people as possible, especially once you're shaking hands with them and say congratulations, your baby is born, you've given a name to this baby, now go make sure this baby lives healthy and happy and serve the world.
I think you want us to be a marketing company. But
No, not
we
really. No, just a ceremonial sign off for them. Like, good
yeah.
job, off you go. Now, I don't want you to be a marketing company if that's not your call, but that symbolic, that naming ceremony, may be
Mhm.
done in partnership with Story Warrior.
Yeah, I we love collaborations. My mentor, he said something. I'm gonna see if I can put it together. I'm trying to make sure I don't mess it up. He said one plus two is three, but
Yes.
one and two is 12.
Oh, there you
So
go.
we love collaborations.
Mhm.
So anytime someone wants to partner with us, we're all for it. So yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about that. Okay, talk
Yeah.
about that. Uh, all the viewers, story warriors, story merchants, story authors out there, be careful. You may see another version of this some other time. Okay.
Yeah.
I am very mindful of the fact, Madam Brooks, that you have a lot on your plate and I don't want to abuse your time.
Thank you so much.
Consider this for a second.
Hmm.
You go to an African diaspora event.
Yeah.
There is jollof rice from Senegal.
Oh yeah.
There's jollof rice from Nigeria.
Oh
There's
no.
jollof rice from Ghana. And there's jollof rice from Cameroon. You better get this one right.
Okay.
Which one are you going to scoop and chew on, salivate on? Get it right.
Listen, let me answer this very strategically, okay? I know
Okay.
this is a big dispute in the African
Huge.
like it's
Huge.
a big dispute. So I
Yeah.
want to make sure I don't lose any of my audience. I love you all.
Okay. 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 All right.
I love you all. So I have to try all of those to be able to answer.
Oh, okay. 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 All right. One, the vuvuzela came out. You got that one right, 1%. I did not go all out because it was okay. It was good. All right. The next one is what's your favorite book that you've ever read?
Ooh, I know I'm biased. I love, love, love my children's book, but my I'll say my second favorite. My second favorite is a children's book. It's called "You Are Special" by Max Licata. I don't know if you've read that one before.
Max Lucado? No, not at all. I don't read children's books. Last time I was a child was more than
I
uh,
know it.
four
Don't you
decades
love
ago.
a good children's book though?
I'm a fit flam, a member of ARP. What are you talking about? Okay. Anyway, I should learn to read it. I have a toddler.
I can go to a library, go to the children's book section, and be there for hours. Like I just love
Wow.
children's books to read them, and because they
Wow.
just quickly share like
Good for
something so
you.
powerful, you know?
I never thought about it that way, but that's very incisive and
Mhm.
good for you. Maybe they say the kingdom of God belongs to those with a childlike nature. Maybe there's a child in
Oh,
you, childlike, brilliance or
mhm. Maybe I'm just immature.
ignorance or naivete about you that
I'm just immature. I don't know. I just love children's books. But that book, You Are Special, I
amazing.
recommend you pick that one up. It's one of the best sellers of all
Mm.
times. And
Wow.
it's a very, very good book. Very powerful. The story, if I can share a little bit about it, uh,
Please go ahead.
he wants to fit in
Mhm.
this Pinocchio character. He wants to fit
Mm.
in, and so he's being judged by the community, and
Mhm.
they'll tell him if he's acceptable or not. So finally, he goes to this wood carver, the one who made him, and
Long nose. Is that the one with the long nose?
but it's
Okay,
not
go ahead.
Pinocchio, but he looks like a Pinocchio character.
Okay, okay. Please go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so and he's made of wood. So he goes to the wood carver just to fix up some of the things that the people were saying were wrong. And the
Mhm.
wood carver tells him, "No,
I'm
you're
not doing. You're
you're
good.
perfect."
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
love that story. It's
Awesome.
so
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. And you're awesome. You're awesome with your work. I believe that very
good.
much.
Thank you.
So the other one is, if someone comes to you and say, "Who do you admire as an author?" Now, I have to say this. My favorite author is Mark Twain, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. It's a children's book, not exactly
Oh,
uh,
congratulations.
yes, yes, not in many, many, many ways. So that's my favorite by a wide margin. I can't even see number two. I have to struggle to see number two. So, who are the contemporary writers or
Mhm.
authors in the world today do you admire their work?
Ooh, so many. It's so many.
Give us, rattle off a couple of them. Ta, 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 ta.
I know, no, I can't. Who do I love? So, what I've been listening to a lot, or actually, I listen to a lot of audiobooks lately.
Likewise, likewise.
Just if you're busy, you know, on the
Hmm.
go, like as you're driving, you listen to. I listen to a lot of books that help improve communication,
Yes.
and
For
so
example, I love that too. Big time.
mhm.
That's my genre.
Let me pull up my audiobook
Okay.
list.
Okay,
Um,
I could say Outliers for sure. I
mhm.
could say Lead with Story. I could say Story Theater. I could say The Message of You. I mean, we can take the whole day, and I'm not gonna
I
finish what
know,
I.
I know.
But
10.
maybe give.
What's the one that says How to Win Friends?
Okay, okay, yeah, Dele Carnegie.
Yes,
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
and
Yes.
Influence People. Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits. When did you read? When did you first read How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Looks like a month ago I started.
I
And
read it at
mhm.
20. That was long time ago.
Did you?
Yes, like I read it
Not
in
that long.
Africa, not even here. I read it in Africa. So yes, I don't earn enough credit as a bookworm. I think I was once a little bit of a bookworm. Okay.
Mhm.
So
It,
Atomic Habits is very, very powerful. What else?
hmm this was one that I read when I was working in manufacturing. 10 the 10 commandments of working in a hostile work environment
Oh my
by TD
God.
Jakes. I do read a lot
10
of
commandments.
books.
Of
Hmm.
working in a hostile work environment.
Hmm.
Okay. Very interesting.
I thought I was the crazy one. One of the see, I shouldn't even read these.
Yeah.
One of the things that I used to struggle with, no longer, I accept who I am now, but I have high functioning Asperger's, and so that
Mm.
means that I have challenges with communication.
Wait,
And
are you Asperger's?
mhm,
Really?
yes,
I could never tell that in 1,000 years.
it's
Never.
been a lot of therapy.
Wow.
And so I had to learn how to communicate better and how to become social.
No
And
wonder you're smart.
oh, thank you.
Woo. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's why I read a lot of books about communication to help me improve in that area because I'm weak in that area.
Okay, okay. I
Mhm.
will have to recommend to you a book. Can I touch my
Sure,
own horn? Can I
sure.
touch my own horn? The Science of Story Selling
Oh, is that
by
written
by
by Dr.
yours sincerely.
Okay.
All right, I'll get a copy for that for you sometime. But
Hmm.
if somebody is so anxious to work with you,
Hmm.
can you remind us again where to find you? And then after that, ask you just the last question, which is a trick question, by the way.
Hmm.
If somebody wants to work with Madam Kelly B. Brooks, where should they find you?
You can go to kelliebooks.com, Kellie, B as in boy, and then the word books.com.
Okay. Are you on LinkedIn?
I am. I'm Kelly Brooks on there. Kelly Brooks MED.
Okay.
Hmm.
Are you on Instagram?
Yes, everywhere else I'm Kelly B Books.
Okay.
Hmm.
Facebook?
Everywhere, yep.
Can they slide into your DM or just stay on the front door?
If they slide, if it's a professional slide, they can slide.
Okay. All
Gotta be.
right, guys, be very careful. Don't slide in people's DM without their permission unless it's professional. Okay, this last one. You are going to meet a client
Hmm.
and you walk into their boardroom. Most of the seats are taken except four seats. Four seats are not taken. The first seat is standing or within a circle. Seat is there's a circle around it. The second one is a squiggly, kind of twisted. Then the third one is within a triangle. And then the fourth one is within a square. These are open seats. Nothing big about it except one is in a square, one is in a triangle, one is in a squiggly, the other one is in a circle. Which of these four seats would you likely choose to sit on?
Okay, and I want you to repeat the whole thing.
Okay, the four seats.
What type of question is
No,
this?
it's okay. Okay, the four seats around
Okay.
the table.
Hmm.
All the other seats are taken, but
Hmm.
the four seats that are still open, you can sit on one of them. The first one is a chair that's within a circle around that chair. Second one, there's a squiggly around. It's kind of like twisted. And then the third one is within a triangle. So it's big triangle surrounding it. And then the fourth one is within a square.
Hmm.
Which of these seats would you be more inclined to sit on?
I'll sit in the chair in the center.
The which one is in the center? The square, the
You said
triangle.
there's a
The,
chair and it's
yeah,
surrounded by four shapes. I
yeah.
want to sit in the chair.
No, remember, there's no chair in the center.
Oh, there's none in the center.
There's none in the center. They're all spread out around the table. There are people already sitting. The first chair that is available is within a circle. Second one is a squiggly. Third one is a triangle, and the fourth one is a square. Don't use the
Don't think too
Asperger's
hard.
intelligence here. Huh?
Because I'm like, where did this come from? This is a fable or something. I would choose the square only because this one song that I remember from Sesame Street, it's hip to be a square.
Ah,
I love
okay,
that song, and so I would probably
okay.
choose the square. And I'm
So,
very square.
all right, and I'm just goofing around with this. It's not like I'm not. It's not a trap question. I
Okay.
read something some years ago called Science of Psychogeometrics,
Hmm.
and it says those who sit in the square are often those that they're perfectionists. Are you a perfectionist? Okay. They like to do it right.
Yes, I do.
Some of them they want to become CPAs. They like to become CPAs because if you don't want to miss anything, okay.
Mhm.
Then the triangle people, they're like the ones that like control, they're like bossy, they're CEOs. And then the circle are the harmonious people, and then the squigglies are the creative ones. So if you like perfection, then I think you definitely chose something that ties up with your personality type.
I do. And you know what? Have you ever read a book with the typo in it? With the
Yes,
perfection?
yes.
This is all credibility,
For you,
right? For
for
the
me,
for the
for me, I like it. For me, I like it.
really.
Yes, I like to know that they're human. I
Um,
genuinely, but I mean, if it's overwhelming, then it
yeah.
bothers me because I went to journalism school. They say on every single day on the front cover of New York Times, they
Mhm.
have editors upon editors, fact checkers upon fact checkers. There are at least six mistakes. Only the cover page.
Ooh.
Only the cover page. We're not talking about the entire newspaper. So I like to know that if they got these layers and layers and layers of editors and proofreaders, and they can still make mistakes,
Mhm.
give me permission to be human. That's how I see
Oh, I love that. You know what? I'm gonna
it.
use that. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I strive for perfection, but I don't want to make sure, I don't want to ever let it hold me back.
Right.
So if I wanted for the perfect moment to do this podcast, we would never have started. So I
Exactly.
started it nonetheless, knowing that I am imperfect. I have imperfect guests who are striving for perfection.
Right.
And
And
I
that's
am
what entrepreneurship is all about, right? Just
thank you.
stumbling as we go. I mean, I'm improving my contract as I go. And
Yes.
I can say, even when I first started, I would have a ton of revisions, and
Yeah.
it's all about growth. It's all about
Yes.
not
Yes.
being perfect and striving to be more like
Yes.
him, right?
Yes. Now, and I embrace that every day. And I'm thankful to you for making the time because I know how busy you are and I know other things you want to go to.
No.
Thank you for sharing your love, your brilliance, your uh, book concepts with the Story Warrior tribe, so to speak. And I want to encourage all the Story Warriors, go check out kellybrooks.com,
Mhm.
get her membership or get her services because, like they say in Africa, until the lion learns to tell his story, the tale of the hunt glorifies the hunter. So if you don't tell your story, don't
Ooh.
blame anybody else for out telling you, for being the hunter who is able to brag. Go and brag, go and tell your story. Otherwise, don't complain about it. Thank you so much, Madam Brooks. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
This has been another fascinating edition of the Story Warrior podcast. Sign it, love it, share it. This is Gideon Fumukwai, the Story Warrior, from the hinterlands of a galaxy far, far away, having a good time in the heartlands of America. Thank you so much. Good night, folks.